Hello mathematical literacy learners, welcome to lesson 10. A tariff is a charge in rands per measuring unit for a specific service. So we are charging per measuring unit. So we have electricity, for example, which we use tariffs. Electricity is the measuring unit is kilowatts per hour. We're going to take a look at electricity first, and then we're going to do water, and then we're going to look at a phone bill, right? So at phones. So let's look at our electricity tariffs. This one is for electricity. They also have one for water, which is similar. So a sliding scale means that if you use 100 kilowatts of electricity, you won't just be charged in block 1. It will be separated and you will be charged in block 2. And if it happens that there is a lot of it, maybe 600 kilowatts, then you will be charged in block 3 as well. You read the table and make sure that the information that is there you understand. For example, it is clear there that these amounts, which is 0.8375 per kilowatts, does not include VAT. How do I know? Because it says that all tariffs are VAT exclusive. So there's no VAT here where the prices are. You go to your tariff measurements and you check and you calculate the maximum. With this table, let's go right there. You're going to write there from 0 to 50 using logic. What is the maximum? The maximum there is 50. That means you can only calculate for up to 50 kilowatts on block 1. That means if you have 60, you cannot calculate the other 10. If you have 60, you've got 50 and 10. You can only calculate 50 here, and then you go to block 2 and calculate for 10, right? Okay, so let's check what is the maximum on block 2. Now, when we come to block 2, you don't say the maximum is 350. That's wrong. The reason the maximum is not 350 is because counting here starts from 51. So how do I can start counting from 51 with my fingers up to 350, but that's going to take forever. So what do? I say 350 minus this 350 right here, minus, you see this 50 above 350, then I'm going to minus that, right? Always minus the number above. Here is actually 300. Then we come to 351 to 600. Again, the maximum here is not 600 because we're starting to count from 351 right up to 600. So what is the maximum here? Again, you say this 600 minus the 350 above. Never use the number next to it. They write whatever they like there. Never use the number next to it. There is 350. So now the maximum here will be 600 minus 350, 150. So the maximum you can calculate for here is 250. And then here it says if you have anything left when you have slid down the scale, then you just calculate here no matter how much you have left. So let's take a look at the water tariff. This one, they've calculated the maximum for us, right? So this one, let's check. They've said up to 6 kiloliters, then yes, it's 6, right? The maximum at the beginning there is 6. And then here, you say 10 minus the 6 kiloliters above, you get 4. And then you say 15 minus the 10 above, you get 5. 20 minus 15 above, you get 5. 30 minus this 20 above it, you get 10. 40 minus this 30 above it, you get 10. And then whatever is left, you calculate here. Look at the tariff for electricity. So let's start by reading our information. I'm starting right there with the first words. The table below indicates the example of sliding scales for electricity tariff. Let's look at that again. This here says this is a sliding scale, so I know it goes from top to bottom when you do your calculations. And also this is for electricity. So these are measurements for electricity, and it's a tariff, right? It's a rate at which we charge electricity. And then I'm reading household, and then this is not for business, this is for homes. And it says all tariffs are VAT exclusive, VAT to be charged at 15%. So the tariff here do not include VAT. So if you calculate the cost here, they're still going to have to add VAT, or we are still going to have to add VAT. Okay, so The next step, if I read it, block 1, it says from 0 to 50 kilowatts, you charge 0.8375 per kilowatts per hour. All right, so what we're going to do here is, like I said before, there is something missing here, which is the maximums, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the maximums. From 0 to 50, we know that if you count from 0 to 50, the maximum is 50. And then if you count from 51 to 350, you can count if you want, or you can say 350 minus this 50 above it, and then it becomes, it's 210, it's 300. And then this 600 minus the 350, that is 250, right? And then this one is also part of the sliding scale. So here it just says over 600. It doesn't say from 2, right? Okay, so the next step then is to, let's read. So now when I do my calculations, I'm just going to look at these ones. I'm not going to consider these ones. They're no longer useful to me anymore. So they say that use the table above to answer the questions that follow. So let's start answering the questions. Write down the tariff per kilowatt charged in block 2. What is a tariff charged in block 2? That's what per kilowatt. For 1 kilowatt, what is charged in block 2? In block 2, they said it's 0.9440 per kilowatts, right? So that is the answer. They just want you to read it and say that is what is charged. In 1.1, the tariff is, now if you look at the tariff there on block 2, there is block 2 right there. They are charging 0.9440 per kilowatt, right? Per kilowatts hour, per hour. Okay, so that is the tariff there. And then the second question says, determine the amount to be paid for 250 kilowatts of electricity. Now, how are we going to slide down the scale? Because we have to calculate for 250. And already remember, you cannot calculate for 250 in block 1. What are you going to do? So I have a way that I do it, but you can use any way you want. I treat this like it's children. Let's say I have 250 children, right? And we are leaving them at school. We're trying to place them at schools, right? So we have 250 kids that need to go to grade 1. So we go to the first school, and the first school says, oh, we only have spaces for 50 children, right? So we're like, okay, we're going to leave these 50 children that live close to the school as possible. And then we are going to be left with 200 children, right? And then we go to school 2, and we say, hey, school 2, we have 200 children. How many can you take? And school 2 says we have spaces for 300. It's like, okay, we have 200. That means we are going to leave all these children in school 2. Then now you can do your calculations by saying the cost here then is equal to, and you say in block 1 there is 50 kilowatts per hour multiplied by the charge there, which is 0.8375, right? And then you say plus the other kids that we left in school 2, that is 200. We left there's not 300, we left 200 there, right? So that is 200 multiplied by 0.944, right? Remember, we said that this does not include what? VAT. So the total charge, you still have to add VAT here. Now, if you haven't watched the VAT lesson, please make sure that you watch that so that you are aware what we are doing and you are not feeling a little bit lost. Equal to 230.675 multiplied by 115%, and then you get your answer. If you don't know why we are doing that, please make sure you watch the VAT videos. So basically the answer then is 265.276,525, and then you round off. Money ends at 2 decimal places, and then you're going to say 265.2 round off to 28. If you still want me to include the lesson that I'm thinking of, doing a lesson on percentages, rounding off, or fractions, and all of that. So if you think that you might benefit from a video like that, let me know and I will do it. Okay, so let's move on.